Salesforce admin training, day 30. Now today's agenda is, we'll quickly go through the previous session overview, lightning flows, and we'll talk about the screen flow, auto launch flow, and let's see the use case of the lightning flows. And we'll have a today's interview question. Now, what did we learn in the last session?
Automation process.
Approval process and introduction of the lightning flow. Lightning flows. How many type of lightning flows are there? Many type of flows. What are the different type of lightning flows? What are the different type of lightning flows? Last time we have discussed the lightning flows introduction. What are the different type of lightning flows? Ramakrishna. What are the different type of flows? Types of flows. What are those two types? Screen flow, auto launch flow. There are the two type of screen flows. Now, auto launch flow is divided into how many types? Screen flow is only one. Auto launch flow, how many types it is divided? 5 types. Auto launch flow is divided into 5 types. What are those? What are the different type of auto launch flows? Type of auto launch page. Last time we have discussed. Say record triggered flow and
Auto launched flow, schedule trigger flow, platform event trigger flow, record trigger flow.
flow, which is a no trigger. And then we have a record triggered flow. Record triggered flow. Scheduled. Last one is platform event. Triggered flow. Platform event triggered flow. Total 5 types are there. There is no time triggered, only these are the 5. Record triggered flow, auto launch flow. The record triggered flow I have written twice. This is the record triggered flow, auto launch flow, scheduled trigger flow, platform event trigger flow, and record triggered orchestration. Record trigger orchestration flow. These are the different type of flows. Lightning flow builder is divided into two types: screen flow, auto launch flow without UI. Auto launch flow is we have a record triggered flow, auto launched flow no trigger, scheduled triggered flow, platform event triggered flow, record triggered orchestration flow. Now coming to the screen flow. Now screen flow is, so what is the screen flow? Screen flow is basically if you want to implement a user interface. If you want to implement a user interface, that means we use this screen flow. Basically, it provides the user interface. If you want to implement a user interface, then you will go with the screen flow, which requires the where the user has to enter the data here. That means screen flow is nothing but if you want to implement a screens, like UI screens, if you want to implement it, then you will go with screen flow. Let's assume I want to implement a UI screen. Now this is the UI screen. Now here we have a screen flow. This is a screen flow. Now this screen flow we will be implementing, for example, first name, user first name, last name, right? Email ID, phone number, and then finally we'll click on the submit button. Here we have a first name, last name, email, and then mobile number. And then finally we'll have a submit button. Now, whenever you want to implement a screens using the lightning flows, then we will go with the screen flow. So basically screen flow is it provides a user interface where it is required the user input. And based on the input values provided by the user, it will perform the operation, right? If I click on submit, whatever the operation it has to be performed, it will perform it. Now, screen flow is nothing but to design the user interface. Now, it provides a user interface which requires a user input. Based on the input values provided by the user, it will perform the operation. To design the user interface, we have the screen element. That's the first one. And the next one is auto launch. The second one is auto launch. Now, auto launch flow is why we use the auto launch flow here. Now, the auto launch flow is whenever it does not require a user input. Auto launch flow is where it does not require user input. It is not require user input from the user. That means the actions automatically executed based on an event. So this will auto launch flows are based on the event. Based on the event, it will execute the auto launch. So this does not require a user interface. Auto launch flow is in this approach, the flow does not require any input from the user. It will fire the action automatically based on the event in the backend. Now the auto launch flow has been divided into five types of category: record triggered flow, auto launch flow, and scheduled triggered flow, platform event triggered flow, and then record triggered orchestration. Take a notes of this screen flow. Done, taken notes. Now next one is auto launch flow. Take a notes of this auto launch flow. Means yes, DML operations like the insert, update, delete, some actions we have to perform. Take a notes of it. Let me know once it is done. Taken the notes. Now let's move on. Is let's see. Now we have understood the stream flow and auto launch. Now in the auto launch flow, we have 5 different types of flows. The first one is record trigger flow. Now what is this record trigger flow? Record trigger flow. Now this record trigger flow is whenever you are performing any DML operation. If you are performing any DML operation and you are looking for a immediate in output. That means as soon as the data is inserted or as soon as the data is or as soon as the record is inserted or as soon as the record is updated or as soon as the record is deleted, immediately we wanted to see the output. Then we will go for a record trigger flow. Now next one, auto launch. Auto launch flow, no trigger. Now auto launch flow is nothing but this flow is it is invoked, either it will be invoked from the other person. That means it is automatically launching this flow. How it is going to automatically launch this flow? This flow is basically somebody is calling. That means this flow is invoked by other flows. Invoked by other flows or Apex or anybody can call. Lightning, Aura or LWC, anybody can call the flow. That means auto launch flows are, it is called by the other programs, which could be a flows, Apex, Lightning, anything it could be. Other flows are calling this auto launch. And in this auto launch flow, no screens. You cannot implement any screens here. You cannot implement any screens. No screen implementation. You can just implement or you can use the automatic logic, the business logic, you can write it into the auto launch flow, and this flow will be triggered by the other flows or other Apex programs or other lightning programs. And you cannot create a screens. And the next one is scheduled triggered flow. Scheduled triggered flow. Now, scheduled triggered flow is if you want to schedule a job by using the flow, if you want to schedule a job, whenever you want to schedule a job, that time, what you wanted to do, for example, you have implemented some business logic, and this business logic, you wanted to fire in some periodical interval. You wanted to execute this flow, execute the flow in the periodical interval. Then in that case, we will go for a scheduled trigger. Now, whenever it is scheduled, it will stay into the queue. That means till the time, for example, today 12 a.m. I have scheduled a job flow. When I schedule a 12 a.m., till the time comes, that means till the time reaches 12 a.m., it will sit into the whatever the job that we have scheduled, the job will sit into the Apex queue. It will sit into the Apex queue. This is the scheduled trigger flow. Take a notes of it. Take a notes here. Record trigger flow, auto launch flow, schedule trigger flow. So here, record trigger flow is nothing but this flow will fire upon performing the DML operations on the object record. A record trigger flow can fire on the insert, update, delete. Auto launch flow no trigger is nothing but this flow invoked from the either Apex program or Lightning or else another flow. Could be another flow. Now, schedule trigger flow, by using this feature, we can configure the scheduled jobs, which will fire based on the specified periodical interval. Right? This means whatever we have scheduled it will be there still it is in the Apex queue. It resides inside the Apex queue. Take a notes of it. That's what we have discussed so far. DML is it first time you are attending, Aruntima?
Yeah, ma'am.
Today is first time you are attending?
No, this is actually after 1 week, ma'am. I have suffering some health issues.
So DML is data manipulation language. Data manipulation language. So that means we are modifying the data. We are modifying the data. Data manipulation language. We are making the changes. DML is data manipulation language. That means either you are creating a record, or you are updating a record, or you are deleting the record, or restoring the record. Right? So anything that can be part of the DML. Okay.
Yeah, ma'am. Okay.
Done. So far we have discussed the record triggered flow, auto launch flow, no trigger, schedule triggered flow. And the next one we have a platform event triggered flow. Platform event triggered flow. Platform event triggered flow is nothing but we have some concept in the Salesforce which is called as a platform. It is called platform. This platform event, there is a platform event. What is this platform event? Platform event is a similar like custom object. Similar like custom object. You can create a platform event. You can create a platform event. But for the custom object, you have a user interface, right? But the platform event, we do not have a user interface. No user interface. It's only available at the backend. Now, so this platform event trigger, we will use it whenever when the platform, there is a message is created or there is a record is created. When the record is created in platform event, then immediately we wanted to fire the or immediately execute the logic. Execute the logic. Then we will go for a platform event triggered flow. Then we will go for platform event triggered flow. The next one is, the last one is record triggered orchestration. Record trigger orchestration. Now this record trigger orchestration is released in spring 22. Spring 22, last year. So it is released in spring 22. Now this is completely a new feature. So by using this record triggered flow is what we can do is till this point, whatever we have implemented, whether it is a platform event trigger, whether it is a schedule trigger flow or a auto launch flow or a record trigger flow, whatever these flows are there, these are a single user, single step automation is there. Single step automation. Now this is one automation. This is another automation. This is another automation. These are the single step or single automation process. Now if you want to execute the multi-user or a multi-step automation process, whenever you wanted to use it for the multi-level user, that means different users are involved here, multi-step automated process, automated business process. Right? So if you want to implement this, that means multiple flows. You wanted to combine the multiple flows. For example, combining the multiple flows. Multiple flows step by step. That means I wanted to include the screen flow and record auto launch flow, no trigger. Now, if you want to combine these two and implement a multi-step execution, multi-step flow execution, then you can go for a record trigger orchestration. Then you can go for record trigger orchestration. So platform event triggered flow is nothing but this flow will get fired when the platform event message has been received. And record trigger orchestration, a new feature that has been generally available. It was in Spring 22. Record trigger orchestration was available in the Screen 22. And this flow allows for multi-user, multi-step automated business process by the multiple existing flows together. And flow orchestration consists of stages, steps, flows, and decisions. Take a note of it. And here orchestration means what? In generic meaning, what is the orchestration? What is orchestration? Orchestration is nothing but planning or arranging or maybe order, right? So proper order, arrangement. So these all are orchestration. Coordinating, right? So these all are the orchestration means arranging it, ordering it. So here using the screen flow, auto launch flow, we will arrange it, the record triggered flow to execute it for the multi stages, multi steps, and based on the decision, we can execute it. Take notes of it. Take a note. Okay. So let's move on. Now the lightning flows. Now we have seen a different type of flows. Now let me show you in the Salesforce how can we see. Now go to the setup and search for a flows. Search for flows. Now select here flows. Click on a new flow. When you click on a new flow, it is going to show you the 6 type of flows. So this is a screen flow, and these all are auto launch flows. Auto launch flows. Now here, for example, if I click on a screen flow, select this screen flow and click on a create button. Screen flow, by default, it will have a start and stop. Whatever the flow it is, whether it is an auto launch flow or screen flow, it always have a start and end. Now, you have a different way of viewing the flow. Now, where we are building the flow in the flow builder. In the flow builder, we are building it. Do you want to see the screen here in the flow builder auto layout? That means it does not show anything elements here. Automatically, you can select this and drag the element here. Or else, do you want a free form? If you say free form, no, there won't be a plus button and the end button will not be there. So it will show the all the elements here. Now you need to drag that onto the here. So drag it and place it so that it will open the layout. Now what are these elements? Now let's see here. Now Salesforce Flow provides a group of elements that can be used to automate the business process. Salesforce Flow, Lightning Flow is providing the group of elements that can be automated the business process. Now, Flow provides the three type of elements. One is a interaction element, logical element, data element. There are three type of elements are there. Flow provides three type of elements. What are those? Interaction elements, interaction element, and logical element, and then data element. Data element. There are three type of elements are there. Now, interaction element, logical element, data element. Now, here interaction element is nothing but what is the interaction element? If you want to design user interface, that means if you want to build a screen, if you want to, or if developer wants to build a screen, or user interface. If they want to build any user interface, in that case, we can go for the interaction element. So it either building the screen, or you can say that you wanted to call another flow, right? So if you want to call another flow, it's nothing but subflow. If you want to call another subflow, or if you wanted to have any actions here, so you can perform all those in the interaction element. Now, example, it's a screen element, action element, subflow element. Subflow element. The next one is a logical element. Logical element, as a word, it says logical. Logical is nothing but if you want to implement a condition, you wanted to implement some conditions, or you wanted to assign the values, or you wanted to build the statements. In that case, we will go for a logical element. Example here, we have a assignment element, decision element, and loop, right, sort. So these are everything available in the logical element. Now data element is nothing but by using this element, we can interact with the database. If you want to interact with the database, that means for an insert, when you are doing the DML operation is nothing but insert, update, and performing some update record, or I'm deleting the record. Whenever you want to interact with the database, then we will go for a data element. Example for the data element is get records, create records, update records, delete records. These are the different elements which are available. Now let me show you that. Now here if we go to the, this is the three elements are there. Interaction element, logic element, and the data element. Now interaction element, we have a screen, action, subflow. Action is nothing but if you want to call it apex clause or any other actions if you want to call it, then you can use this. Subflow is nothing but this is the flow. From this flow, if you want to call another flow here, then you can use the subflow. Now next one is logic. Logic is nothing but where we are having a condition check, assignment, loop, sort, filter, decision. So these everything is available in the logic. Where we are dealing with the logic is all the elements are available in the logic. Now data is nothing but where we are interacting with the database. Whenever you want to interact with the database, that time you will go for the data element. So in the data element, we have a create a record, update a record, right? So get record, delete record, rollback records, rollback records. Now that's what here interaction element. By using this element, we can design the required user interface. So the users can enter the values in the field to perform the operation. Example, screen flow, screen element, action element, subflow element. Logic element is by using this element, we can check the conditions. We can define the variable, assign the values, iterate the statements like assigning, decision, row, collection, sort, filter, all this will be available in the logic element. Data element is nothing but when you are dealing with the database. That means if you are performing the DML operation, then you will go for data element, get records, create records, update records, create records. This is very important to understand because if you know what are these elements, now if you have a requirement, what to use, which element do I need to use it in order to build the logic? You should be aware. So this is very important that you should know that what are the elements are available. Take a notes of it. So this is the logic elements. Done, taken the notes. It's a time for implementing the flow. We are done with understanding the flow. Let's see the use case of it. So interaction, screen, actions of flow, logic, assignment, decision, loop, collection, sort, data, create, record, update, record, delete, record, get, record, rollback. So these are the different type of elements. Now let's see the use case of it. Now use case is configure the flow to send the email notification to the hiring manager upon creating the new hiring manager report. So the requirement is we need to send an email notification to the hiring manager whenever the hiring manager record is created. Now here, step 1 is we need to create an email template with the required subject and content. Step 2 is create an email alert to specify the object name, recipient details, CC copy email, address, email template name. Now these two I need to make sure that I have an email template and the email alert. Because from the flow, we cannot call the email templates. We can call only the email alerts. Email alerts we can call it. Now step 3 is we need to create a record triggered flow. Why it is record triggered flow? Why can't the screen flow?
It is triggering on the object level.
Right, it is triggering on the object. We can implement schedule trigger flow also. Why only the record
It is
trigger?
after record insert.
As soon as the record is inserted, we want to send an email. That's the reason we are going for the record trigger flow. Now in the record trigger flow, we need to create an event after insert. When do I need to perform the sending an email? Once the record is inserted in the database, then I wanted to send an email. So it should be event is after insert. And I'm going to put a condition here. Hiring manager email is not equal to none. And the action we have to perform, send an email alert. Now let's go ahead and implement it. Now, right now, I'm going to go for a record triggered flow. Right, so click on this. Now go leave. On the new button, new flow. Now, before that, I'm going to cross verify. Do I have an email template? Let's go ahead and check. Do I have an email template? So, classic email template. Now, let's go for it. Sales department. In the sales department. Now, onboarding HM. Right, onboarding HM is there. Now, do I have an email alert? Email alert. Click on this email alerts. Now click on continue. Now hiring manager, send an email to hiring manager. I have it. So open this email alert. From this email alert, we are calling the email template, which is, it's a new customer email. Let me edit this. Let me choose the template. Edit. On this. Now I'm going to choose the template from the classic and the sales department. We have a onboarding HM. Click on save. So within the email alert, we are choosing the email template. Now I have a step 1, step 2 is ready. I have a template, right? And I have updated the email alert. So email alert is on top, and in between within this we have a email template. Now within the email template, let's see what are the object name. Now in the email alert, what did we select? Click on edit button. Now here we have a onboard. It's on the hiring manager. Object is hiring manager. Perfect. And the user email address. We have a email address. This is the email field. Email address is available on the hiring manager. So we are choosing the email address. Now that is totally fine. Now click on cancel. Now we have a email alert is ready. Now the step 3 is I need to create a record trigger flow. In order to create a record trigger flow, click on a new button, select here record trigger flow. Click on next. And now record trigger flow is going to ask that on which object do you want to implement a flow. So let's say here I'm going to implement a flow on the hiring manager. As soon as the record is created, we want to send an email. So we have a different options. Do you want to send the email on the update, create or update, or whenever it is deleted or whenever it is created? Let's go with whenever it is created. And by default, set entry condition is none. If you want to set entry condition is none, you can set it, or else if you want to set like all conditions are met. Do you want to specify anything here? Let's say email address should not be null, does not equal to null. Whenever we are creating the hiring manager, the new record should have a email address. The new record should have a email address. Click on done. Now this is the start button and this is the end button. And here this is the record trigger flow, run immediately. Now on this record trigger flow, we have a object mentioned. Record is a trigger is created. Condition 1 condition we have specified. And if you want to schedule the path, you can schedule it. Or if you want to open the flow trigger explorer, you can open the flow trigger explorer. I have shown yesterday. Now this is the one. When you click on this flow trigger explorer, so it will show the step by step, right? So what needs to be done on the first, which one should be executed first, which one should be executed next. Everything will be created. Now let's create it. Now go to the have a record trigger too. Now what is the next I need to record is created. As soon as the record is created, I need to send an email. That means I need to perform an action in order to send an email. So from which element do I need to take it? So which element should I need to take it? Do I need to go for an interaction element, or do I need to go for a logic element, or do I need to go for a data element? I want to send an email. Does the data element qualify in order to send an email? Can I take a data element? Can I take a data element? I want to send an email. As soon as the hiring manager record is created, want to send an email. Can I get it from the data element? Is there any element which qualifies here in the data element?
Create record, madam.
Create record.
Create record. Okay, create record is we are creating the record. Like whenever you want to create a record, let's assume here on the hiring manager or any object, if you want to create a record, that means I wanted to insert a record. Whenever you want to insert a record, then we will go for the create a record. Create a record does not qualify. I don't want to create a record. I want to send an email. Record creation is already done.
Get records, ma'am.
Records.
So that we can get the new records.
Which record you will get it? The one, whatever the hiring manager record is there, the one, that is the one.
Yeah.
So here, the record triggered flow, we have already specified here. So what this happen is, as soon as the record is created, now I have a UI here, right? In the UI, I'll open up the hiring manager and click on a new button, and I fill up the details and click on a submit button. As soon as I click on a submit button, system is going to check is there a flow is available on this hiring manager. If there is any flow, it will immediately hit that flow. And in the record triggered flow on the top level, I'm already capturing the hiring manager details here. I'm already capturing the hiring manager details. Capturing the record details are done. The second step is I need to send an email. I have to send an email. Now, if I have to send an email, will my data element qualify it?
No, we can
No,
choose
ma'am.
it.
We have to choose the logical element.
We cannot. The data element, we cannot get it. How about the logic element?
No.
Oh,
We cannot get any element here. How about the interaction element?
Yes, action.
We have to take the actions.
Action.
So the action is I need to send an email. Now in the action, we have a two type of filters. Category type. Category is which category do you wanted to go for it? Users, workplace, work steps, appointment, messaging, price book, order management, wait list, notification, email. Now here it says email. When it says email, now it has a send email, right? Only one action is available, which is a send email. And here I need to specify the label. Now this email is if you want to build an email template on the flow. You want to build an email template on the flow. If you want to build an email template on the flow, like for example, providing the content here, like I'm providing the content in the body, template ID you can provide it, and what should be the recipient IDs, and what should be the subject, right? Everything you are building the template here. But I don't want to build the template on the flow. I don't want to build the template on the flow. We already have a email alerts, which is going to qualify. So in the real time, you don't use this email. Building the template, we do not use this. Now, where I can get the information, go to the type. Go to the type. In the type, select the email alert. Select the email alert. And what is our alert name? It's a send email to HR manager. No, this is the one. Send email to HR manager. Label name, you can give any label name. Send email to HR. Description, you can send anything. And record ID. Now, what is the record ID here? Is the email alert record ID or which record ID? So basically here this record ID is for which record are you sending this email? For which hiring manager record are you sending this email? So you need to provide the which are the record triggered flow you have created, right? So on the record triggered flow, what are the object you have selected? That object record ID you need to choose it. So in order to choose that, you have an option here, record. Select the record, which is a hiring manager record. Click on this and select the ID. Done. Sending an email if email to HR is completed. Now this is run immediately. You have a trigger which is starting here, capturing the information and sending an email. It is perfect. Now this is done. Now click on the save. I'm saving the flow. Here let's say that send email to new hiring manager. Show advanced if you want to put any advanced, like if you want to change the type of flow from the record triggered flow to if you want to change it any flow, you can change it here. And what is the source template? Enter any template name here. And what is the API version? What is the API version? Which API version do you want to go for it? And record triggered flow. Which record triggered flow? Again, do you want to have any order here? Do you want to have any order? So the numbers from the 1 to 2000. The order of the flow trigger runs. Like if you have a multiple flows on this hiring manager, multiple record flows are there on the hiring manager. What is the order of this trigger? When this trigger should be executed? You can specify the number here. So these are the advanced one. Usually we don't touch that advanced one. Click on save. Once it is saved, now you will see that all these options are enabled. All these options are enabled. Save as is. Now, as soon as I click on save, there is a version 1 which is created. Right? If you want to modify anything, like activate is nothing but I'm activating it. Now, flow gets executed automatically. The record flow gets executed automatically when it is active. If you have an active flow, then only the logic will work. Otherwise, the logic will not work. Now, if you want to create another version, now click on save as, click on save so that it will be version 2 gets created. Now click on save. Now here it changed version 2. So if you want to save it in multiple, like version 1 is a not good, version 2 you made a changes. So in that case, you can click on save as. View test if you want to view the test. Now you can click on view, create a test 1. Now I'm going to create a test 1. Now this is kind of a test classes. Now this is the test 1, created, updated, run immediately. Right? This is, I'm going to say here, create record, created, record. Now this is on creation, run immediately. And set initial trigger. Do you want to create any fields here on the hiring manager? Now this is the hiring manager, created fields. Now let's say here, you can also take the existing record. Now click on save. Set assertion. Do you want to set any assertion? Like a send email. Send email to HR. Do you want to have any value here? Right, so if you want to check any resources like it, click on save. Now that is the, if you want to click on view test, again it is going to show here. Now select this, click on it, run. Now it will execute the test or run. Now test is run. Now it is selected, that is the test if you want to test anything. Now here debug, this is especially for the developers or a admin team. Whenever we create a flow, before activating it, we should first test it. That means we should first debug and then execute it. So run immediately. So click on this hiring manager, click on this April 12, click on run. So once it is executed, if it is a blue line, that means everything is working fine. Everything is working fine. So interview is started here. So whenever you debug, you will run the flow in the flow interview. You will run or debug the flow in the interview, flow interview. Flow interview is started, flow interview is stopped. That means whenever we are starting the executing the flow, flow interview started. And at the end, flow interview stopped. Now here it is going to show you that start condition. What is the requirement of the condition? Requirement of the condition is email address does not equal to null. It should satisfy this condition. If this condition is true, then it will go to the action and it will send an email. Hiring manager, send an email. And if you want to roll back, now because flow ran into the rollback mode, any changes to add, delete or modify. Rollback is nothing but usually when we are debugging it, we do not want to update any record. We don't want to update any record. In that case, we wanted to revert the changes back. Rollback is don't insert or don't update anything here. Just once it is executed this flow, just revert it. That means this is only at the debug level. When you are debugging it, only that time we are going to do the rollback. Now, how the interview finished? The interview finished is ran for 0.42 seconds and finished on September 8th, 2023 at 8:31 p.m. Now, this is all the information it is going to show you the how it is executed the flow. Now, when you are debugging the flow, you can also check the governor limits. You can also check governor limits. So click on this setup icon. Now here something we have a governor limits. Now governor limits, especially for the flow, two governor limits will be there. One is SOQL governor limit, DML governor limit. SOQL and DML, only these two governor limits will be applied. Select this. Now it is going to. Now so far there is nothing is there. So far we do not have anything. Now if you apply this, what will happen if you are querying the record? If you are querying the record, that means get record. Get record, what it does, get record is it will retrieve the data from database. Right? When it retrieve the database, then in that case, SOQL governor limits are applied. SOQL governor limits are applied. Right? So, and DML is nothing but DML is when you are updating a record or create a record or update a record. Update a record or delete a record. Whenever you are performing any DML operation, this record, this element, whenever you are using, DML gets executed. For SOQL, it's like 100, right? So governor limits are 100. Now if it is a DML, then it will be around 150 will be there. Right, so here, these are the governor limits that gets applied. Now I'll show you going further how the governor limits you can see that. How the governor limits you can see. Now if it is crossed, it will show you the here. Now, right now, we do not have any operation. We did not apply any DML operation. We did not do any SOQL query. So record triggered is automatically Salesforce is doing it. We did not do any SOQL query execution here. So that's the reason you don't see any difference here. You don't see any difference. Now we will see going further how to apply it.
Ma'am, SOQL 100 means it's an error code or it is a like
governor limits.
yeah, governor limits. SOQL 100, it's a reverse error code or it is refers to that SOQL code.
What is error code?
SOQL 100 you write, man. There you wrote like that, right?
Maybe he's referring to like 101 SOQL error, something like that.
Crosses the 100, then you will get the error of SOQL limits are crossed 101. So your limit is 100. Or if you have 100 records here, as soon as it hit the 100 records, and when it goes to the next record, it will say that you have already reached the SOQL limit, and it will give the error 101. That is the error. SOQL limit 101 is an error. Limit is 100.
You got it, man.
Now this is one scenario. Now next one we'll see. Configure a flow to get the related contacts on the account and update the selected contact in the table. So basically what we need to do here is, now for example, I'm already in the account. I'm already in the account record. Whenever the account record, this is account record. Whenever we have selected the account record, I open the account record. In the account record, the complete page is divided into the two sections. Right? So maybe you will have a related list, or here you will have some other activity information. You will have all this information, right? Now let's say whatever the account I am in, show me the contacts. show me the contacts here. Related contacts. That means for this account, what are the contacts are there? For this particular account, what are the contacts are there? Show me all the contacts here. And whenever I select the contact, it should be redirected to it should be updated, some selected contact. What are the contact I have selected? It should update some data there. It should update the data. So this is the requirement. Now in this requirement, now which one do I go for it? Do I need to go for a screen flow or a auto launch flow? Which one do I need to go for it?
Auto launch, ma'am.
Why you think auto launch flow?
In screen flow, just we have to provide the information only. Here we have to perform some actions over there to update the record.
But my requirement is I have an account. Here it should show all the related contacts. Here I need to build a page which shows all the related records, and it should have a checkbox here, name and the last name and some details. Now this side the account details are displaying it. Side I'll have a account records. Lightning page. Here I'll go to the account records, which is a client. Open the Salesforce report. Now this side I need go to the detail section, and this side I need a screen. Right, so the activity should go down. Here it should display the screen, and here it should be contact information and some table it should be shown. And in this table, I need to have some checkbox. It should show some checkboxes here. So this is one checkbox, this is second record checkbox, this is third record checkbox, fourth record checkbox, fifth record checkbox. Then after that, here it should show the account name and some other information it should show. So this is what it should show. And based on the selection of record, now as soon as I select the record here, as soon as I select the record, if I select the record here, now what should happen? It should update the contact. As soon as I selected, this record should be updated. As soon as I selected, this record should be updated with some data. Now, which one do I need to go for it?
Screen flow, ma'am.
Now it should go for a screen flow. Screen flow, right? So the screen flow starts here. We are starting the screen flow. Once I start the screen flow, initially I don't have any screen flow, right? So this is the start button. This is a start button. This is the start button. What is the first thing which I need to do in the screen flow? What should I need to get? What should I need to do for? What is the first step?
Get the record.
Account details.
I need to find out the related contacts of the account. Right, so this is the find. So I need to use some element here. Right, so here I'm going to use some element where it is going to search for it. That means where it has to get the related contacts for account. Related contacts for the account.
Get records. We need to get the records from contacts.
Get record element, right? Get records element. So I'll be using the get records element. Now, once I receive the contacts, what should it be? What should be the next one?
Maybe for loop, we need to loop one by one and
Why should we do the for loop? We need to display the data, right? We need to display the contacts list in the account record. Here I am getting all the related contacts. Now, what are the related contacts are there? I need to display the related contacts this side. I need to build the screen. That means whatever the related contacts are there, all the contacts display all contacts. Display all contacts. Which element will I use it? Which element do I need to use it?
element.
Screen element. I need to use the screen element. Now here I'll have it, some screen element. Right, so I'll be using some screen element. Now once I display the data, no, I'm going to update. So that means I need to update certain information on the selected contact. Whatever the contact is selected, I need to update the certain information. Let's assume that I'm going to update some title. Assume that I need to update. So as soon as I selected the checkbox, now what is the next thing? As soon as I select the checkbox or I select the contact, as soon as I select the contact, immediately the title should update to the prompt. Let's say it's a update from, I need to update the title. On the contact, we have a title. Contact, let's open the contact here. Open that contact. Whatever the detail section is there, in the detail section, we have a title, right? So this title I'll be updating. This is update from flow. Now, in order to update the data, what I will be using it? Which element do I need to use it?
Data element,
Data element. In the data element, which one?
update.
Update, I'll be using it. Update, I'll be using it. That means I'm updating the certain information here. Now this is update element. And then we'll have a end message. We have updated it. But how do I know that whether it is updated or not? I should show some message saying that the contact record is updated, because the reason is I am on the account record. I'm on the account record. In the account record, I'm displaying the contact information. And I'm selecting here one of the contact. As soon as the contact is selected, immediately it will update the certain data. But how do I know that whether the contact is really updated the information or not? Contact is really updated the information or not. So basically, I need to show some kind of a message. I need to show the message. That means this contact is updated. Message is this contact is updated. Now, in order to show the message, which one do I need to use it?
Interaction element,
One. I need to show the message on the screen. If I wanted to show the message, which element do I need to use it?
Display.
Yes, display, but how you will display it? Do I have a display element? Let's go here, flow. Select here, new flow. And let's select the screen. Screen flow, click on the new button. Now, which element do I need to use? Let me use select elements here. Uniform. Now, which element do I need to use it in order to display the message?
Update record.
Update record is already done. We have already used the update record in order to update the contact. Now I want to display the message. Sorry?
Screen.
Screen element. I need to use the screen element. We need to use the screen element. So that means I'll be using this screen element. We will be displaying the certain information on the page. Now finally we'll have an end. Finally we'll have an end. Tab flow that we are going to implement. So we have a start method, start button. And then once it is done start button, we are getting the related contacts. Once the related contacts we have it, we are displaying the related contacts on the page. Right on the page, we are displaying the related contacts here. And then based on the selection of contact, we are updating the record. And once we have updated the record, we are displaying the message saying that this contact has been updated. And finally, we'll have an end message. This is end. So this is entire flow. This is a screen flow that we are going to implement right now. First, we have a start button, and then next we are going to get the records. Now, get the records here. Now, in order to get the records, now we need to use, I need to know that we are directly doing the get record, right? Now here I'm directly doing the get records of the contact based on the account. That means I should know that what is the account ID. For which account ID I am retrieving the contact. For which record ID I am retrieving the contact. Right? I should be knowing that information. Now, how do I know that? How Flow will know that which account I am in? I have already opened the account here. Now, how Flow will know that which account I am in? How do I know that which record I will be there? How do I know that in Salesforce? In order to capture the record ID by default, whenever I open the account, on top level, I'll be having a account ID information. Here we have a account ID information. Which are the record I am in? By default, I want the Salesforce to capture the ID from the top URL. It should be automatically capture the ID from top URL. In order to capture the URL from the in order to capture the ID from the top URL, so what I'll be doing is go to the flow builder And here we have something called new resource. We have something called new resource. In this new resource, I'll create a new resource. Click on this new resource. New resource is basically whenever you wanted to create any field in the flow. You want to create any field. That means if either storing the information you need some collection, then create a collection using the resource. You wanted to capture the ID from URL, use the resource. Right? You wanted to store all the records, use the resource. We have a different type of resources out there. Variable, if you want to create a formula field only in the flow. So you can use the formula field, choice, collection set. You can implement your own choice, yes or no, kind of a choice you can implement. A record choice set, right? So what are the records we have? Those records should be displayed as a choice set. So you can use the record choice set. Pick list choice set. If you want to go for a pick list, then pick list choice set and the stage. So these are the different. That means whenever you need, if you think that, okay, I need some container or I need some field which should store certain information. So in that case, use the resource. Now here I want the ID to be captured automatically by the Salesforce. In order to capture the ID from the Salesforce, I'll be using the variable. Always specify the API name as a record ID in case if you want to capture the on top level, if you want to capture the ID, always use the record ID, small record, capital I, small t. Capture the record ID and data type is record. Which record do you want to capture? Account record I wanted to capture. And it should be available for input. It should be available for input. Click on that. So now the record ID is created. Now the record ID is created. Now let's go ahead and get the contacts. So in order to get the contacts, now I'll go and get the get records. Copy this get records. Now here the label name is contact. Let's say related contacts. Related contacts and the object is a contact. Object is contact. And then what is the condition that I need to use? Condition is account ID equals to whatever the record ID we have, record ID dot, that is complete record, account record. In this account record, we have a ID. Record ID dot ID. Click on that. Now, if you go with a free form, you have to connect it. You need to connect it. This is for the free form. In case if you go for a auto layout form, let's click on the save. I'm going to create a flow. Contact, title, update. Contact, title, update, click on it, save. Change this free form to auto layout. Now this is the auto layout. So screen flow, related contacts. Now, once we have a related contacts, I wanted to display these related contacts. The next step is I need to display the related contacts. Click on this plus button. In order to display the contacts, I'll use the screen. Screen flow, screen element. Now in this screen element, did I get all the contacts or only one contact? Let's get all the records. It says only first record. Let's say all the record, click on done. Now, once it is done, the next step is I wanted to display the data. Now click on this plus button, select the screen flow, screen element. Now in the screen element, let's say you wanted to change this header. Let's say this is related contacts. Related contacts. API name is already there. Let's say contact list. Now we have a contact title update. Now that is the one. And the next one here, I need to display the list of contact. In order to display the list of contact, you have a components. These are the lightning components. These are lightning components. Or else if you want a field, if you want any field of the record, like a record level, you have a field, the record ID, you want to place it. Any field, you can place it. Now let's say here component. Now I wanted to go for a table. I wanted to go for a table. Now let's choose here lightning component, which is a data table. Drag the lightning component, data table. Now let's say here contact selection. Right, so label name is, this is the API name. Label name is also, I want the same thing. Then, do you want to use the label as the title? Or do you don't want to use it? If you want to use the title, you can select it as a title. Now, what is the source collection? The source collection is related contacts. What are the related contacts are there? All the contacts I wanted to display. Now, next, do you want to show the search bar? Now here, do you want to show the search bar? If you want to show the search bar, you can show the search bar. Or else no. Do you want to configure the rows? Let's say multiple rows or a single row, which are the one you wanted. Let's say multiple. I want a multiple rows. Right, so let's say here, configure the rows. For configuring the rows, let's say I wanted to display the multiple rows, and I'll say here probably minimum selection is 1 and maximum selection is 3. Let's assume minimum is maximum. Now do you want to I don't have a columns here, right? There is only one column, it says 0. Now do you want to configure the column? Let's say I wanted to display the, click on this icon. Column. Now let's say I wanted to display the contact first name. Done. And then also I wanted to add another one, which is let's say I'm going to add email. Then email is added. Then I wanted to add another column. Let's say department. Click on that. So now the table is created with the column first name, email, and the department. Also, we have a checkbox is taken. Now, do you want to set any component visibility? And do you want to show this field all the time? Do you want to show this table all the time? Or do you want to only based on the some selection, do you want to show this table? Let's say I wanted to show it on the all the time. Now, advanced, do you want to use values from when the user last visited this screen? Let's go with the by default. Click on done. Now the contact list is created. Now the next one is I wanted to update the report. The next one, screen is done. The next one is we are going to do it. Update element. Now let's go here, click on the plus button. I'm going to select the update records. Now I'm going to update selected contact. Update selected contact. Do you want to use this the ID, all the fields from the record collection, or do you want to update the record individually? That means, do you want to update the fields individually, or do you wanted to go for it? Let's say I wanted to update the fields individually. So the object is contact object. In the contact object, I'll say here field. Let's say I wanted to say here ID. You can specify the ID. ID equals to what are the primary, what are the contact selection detail is the first row. In the first row, I'm going to select the ID. That means in the contact selection, whatever the selected one is there. Let's assume that here we are displaying the 3 records. I'm displaying the 3 records are there. Whatever the selected ID is there, capture that selected ID. Capture that selected ID here. And if that ID is equal to, this is the condition. If this condition is true, then update the title. Update the title. Title equal to update from. Once it is updated, you can show the screen. Now here again, click on the plus button. Click on the screen flow, screen element. And in this screen element, let's say this is contact title update. I'm going to create this as a success message. Text here. That means I just wanted to display the text. Drag the display text. Let's say here message. Now, what is the message that I wanted to show? I wanted to show the contact name. Now, how can I get the contact name? Contact name, I can get it from the whatever the contact selection is there in the data table. From that, I can select the whatever the first row is there, selected row. Whatever the selected row is there. Let's take the selected row. And comma. Also, again, you wanted to get the contact selection, first row, and if you want to display the maybe contact name, contact first name, right, has been updated. Has been updated there. Can make this as a bold, increase the font. What are the styling you wanted, you can place it, and whatever this contact name is there, let's say here the contact name, it should be different color. It is the contact name. Updated, click on done. Click on. Now the screen flow is saved it. Now, if you want to debug, click on a debug. Click on debug. Is having the contact. Let me choose which one has a contact. Salesforce has a 2 contacts. Now let's select this Salesforce, click on a run. Now here it is displaying the 2 contacts. Now if I select this and click on the next button, Salesforce is updated. Now this message is selected rows is not displaying anything here. Now it says that Salesforce has been updated. So there one is updated for the Salesforce. The contact. If here is updated from the flow. Now it is working fine. Only the thing is that I need to change this message. Click on finish. Let's go back to the flow. Now here instead of a contact selected, delete this. I'm going to delete this and then comma. Say I'm going to specify contact, the selection contact, first selected row, and then I'm going to take a last name. Now click on done. Now perfect. Now tomorrow we will see how to place this screen on the account record. Now we have a account record here. In the account record, I wanted to place whatever we have implemented a screen flow. I wanted to place the screen flow here. So detail section should be here and I should have a information here. We will see that tomorrow how to
Ma'am,
place
on
on
the, yeah.
the record level, the page level, on the page level, how to add the flow. Now take few homework, configure the flow to remove the related recruiter records from the object upon removing the parent manager record. That means what is the flow you will be, what is the type of flow you will be taking for this?
Record trigger flow. Sorry, auto launch flow.
It's a record trigger flow. You have to take record triggered flow because whenever you are removing the hiring manager, whenever you are deleting the hiring manager, capture the deleted records information here, and then you need to get the related recruiter records. Get record, because get record is for the related recruiter. And then finally, you need to use the delete element. You have a delete element, you need to delete all these records. Now, next one is configure a flow on a creation of account. If account last name is not null, then create a new contact record. You need to create one contact record and link the contact record to the account. The next one is configure the flow to remove the related contact records from the object upon removing the account records. One is whenever you are creating the account, it has to be created. New record has to be created. And the second one is configure a flow to remove the related contacts from the object whenever you are removing the parent account. These are the homework. Take a notes of it.
Ma'am, one doubt. I mean,
Yes.
regarding the previous example. I mean, scenario I am a little confused. Actually, we have created we have taken account related context, right?
Yes.
And updated title only, right?
Updated on the
Contact title.
for the selected contact.
Selected contact title, it is updated, right? From fetching the data from account related context and updated then some is selected whatever is selected that contact title is updated, right? That is only a scenario.
Yes. Take a notes of it. I'm taking the notes. Questions? What are the different type of flows? What is a screen flow? What are the different type of auto launch flows? What is scheduled triggered flow? What is record triggered flow? What is platform event triggered flow? What is auto launched no triggered flow? And what are the different type of interaction elements? What are the different type of logic elements? What are the different type of data elements? These are the questions. Make sure to answer this if possible today, if not tomorrow. Answer this and send it. That's all for today. Let me stop the recording.